Pepper says, are you ready to start decluttering some crafts? I know I am. It is that time of the week again. It is time to declutter another section in this hoarded basement. And we've been doing so good down here, opening up the middle of this section. And since we opened up this space so nicely, we're going to start pulling all the craft tubs from the other side of the basement. That way, we're actually opening up another section. But I wanted to have the room to be able to lay stuff out, look at everything, very similar to how we did it for the Christmas craft hoard, because there was just so much stuff in that one category.
Hello everyone. So as we're going through all the craft bins, I'm going to be sharing decluttering tips that worked for me. I am a recovering hoarder, so I kind of had to do my process a little different than everybody else. And that is because I'm emotionally decluttering. So the tips that I'm sharing are going to be more on the emotional side than on the logical side. A lot of our behaviors, our patterns, our thought processes are really driven by our emotions and our moods. And that's what I'm going to be sharing as we go through all of this stuff.
So the first thing I'm going to do is move all of these bins into that open space, kind of like the KonMari style. I'm taking this category so I can see everything that I have, see what I have multiples of, and then make the decision to let go. Which leads me to my first tip. And my first tip is that you gotta be in the mood to do all this work. I'm hoarding disorder with ADHD, so I really procrastinated my entire life when it came to anything with decluttering. I had to get my mind and my energy into a good mood so I could get that dopamine flowing and get actually excited about decluttering. And to get into the mood, I had to start thinking about how good I was going to feel while I was doing it. I pictured myself finding things that I lost, feeling good about making a decision to give something away or to donate. I would imagine how good it would feel completing the task, seeing my tossy pile, and reminding myself that I am strong enough to do this. And I would even give myself a little reward. Now, I try to give myself rewards that are within my no spend and no sugary food rewards too. I stick with self-care stuff like a bubble bath, maybe a little meditation or an audio book, light a candle that I love, as long as it's something that you really enjoy. All right. Now, before we go to the next tip, I'm going to show you that here are all the craft bins that I found. Now, we do have a lot here, but I know that I am missing some because there is a sewing box that I'm missing and also a Cricut machine accessory box that I'm missing. And as we continue through this series, I will look for them so that I can add it to the pile. But here are all the craft bins that were in this section. So of course, we're going to do this just like we did the Christmas KonMari back in November. I'm going to start on one side and start going through each bin. That's what I can handle, which leads me into my second tip. And what has helped me with decluttering is looking for the easiest thing I can declutter first. It is that quick win, that first victory of yes, I can do this. So I will look at the area, look at the different pieces, and make the decision, what can I declutter first? This is opposite of the KonMari method where Marie Kondo looks for the things that spark the most joy first and put that aside to organize it. I have to do the opposite because I have an emotional attachment to everything. I have to find what has the least amount of joy, what has the least amount of emotion attached to the item. And what this does is get that decluttering momentum going. That way, I'm feeling really good as I see my tossy pile get bigger and bigger. Now, as I'm decluttering, I am going to be doing a little rough organizing, meaning I'm just funneling the different craft supplies into similar category bins. That way, when we're done decluttering all of the craft supplies and we start organizing, I'll already have some loose categories ready. And in this pink bin, we did have a lot of scrapbooking supplies, so we're going to temporarily store it there. Now, moving on to the next bin, we're going to start to discuss decluttering tip number 3, and that is baby step decluttering. When I first started in 2018, I had to declutter in very small sections at a time. It was what I could emotionally handle and process at the time. I honored where I was in my recovery of hoarding disorder, so I never tried to force myself to declutter a huge section when I was not mentally or emotionally ready for it. And because I did it like that, I reconditioned my nervous system to let myself know that I was still safe if I decluttered this small section at a time. And as I continued to do it, every week, I had noticed that I could handle bigger sections. So if you are feeling extremely overwhelmed in decluttering a closet, a room, a basement, just pick a section, a corner, a drawer, whatever you know that you can handle and that you can successfully declutter in that day. You don't have to put such unnecessary pressure on yourself. And this leads me into decluttering tip number 4, which is never force yourself to declutter or let go of something that you're not ready to let go of. Because what that does is it codes your nervous system that decluttering is not fun, it's painful, and I feel like I'm being forced to let go of things that I do not want to let go of yet. I want you to honor that. If you're not ready to let it go, then don't let it go. Let go of what feels easy. Now, a lot of these little barrettes that I'm showing you, I made years ago. I used to have a little craft shop, an Etsy shop. I closed it down since, but we're talking a very long time ago when Brandon was a baby, and I used to make these little barrettes and headbands, and I used to sell them. And I also thought that I would have at least 2 more children after Brandon, and that maybe one of them would have been a little girl. But that's why you see a lot of these barrettes. And I am going to take this time to ask a question that I am ready to let it go. I just can't make a decision on how to let them go. Do I try to sell them? Do I just give them away and donate them? I would love to hear in the comment section below, what do you think I should do with all of my baby barrettes that I used to make? And now this leads me into number 5 decluttering tips that I have, and that is to give yourself a reward when you're done. Now, I kind of spoke a little bit upon this in the first decluttering tip, but any type of reward that you can give yourself that you love really helps with the motivation. Now, part of the reward is you completed the task, you did it. It feels really good. For me, it was I had a finished YouTube video, I posted it, and so many of you sent such wonderful, encouraging, positive messages. That was a huge reward for me. Now, not everybody has a YouTube channel, but the reward could be letting somebody know that you're doing it, and then they congratulate you and uplift you. I will always congratulate and uplift you on what you decluttered for the day. Please know that. And another type of reward can also, again, be what you love to do. Sometimes I give myself a facial or a deep hair conditioner with masks and products that I already own. And also, sometimes hubby is very nice and sweet, and he'll give me a little back massage for all the hard work that I did, especially today. I'm getting one later. And these were the best 5 tips that I had that really helped me change my hoarding behavior. And I feel like you can use these tips to change any behavior or reach any goal that you are trying to reach. It doesn't have to be just decluttering. It can be anything that you want to achieve. And speaking of achieving, what I did was we decluttered from these bins and I put labels on it and check marks on it so I know what's inside of them and which ones we already went through. And each week following afterwards, we'll go through all the other bins in the same way. And now me and Miss Pepper get to show you our tossy pile. And for me, decluttering crafts, this is a huge success because I never thought I could ever let go of a craft because it represented who I was. And this is the back corner. Now, of course, we took all the bins out so we could go through it all, but it's kind of cool to see it a little more open and also to keep us motivated to just keep going, to keep opening up these spaces. And my hope and my prayer is that this video motivated and encouraged you to declutter and clean something in your home today too.